Hello. Welcome to Elizabeth Jones Variety Hour.
Hello, hello, turkey lovers.
And happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Yes, I don't know when we're going to put this up either, but it's the day before Thanksgiving. We haven't done a show in a while, and like it's almost a whole week.
I know, I know.
Now it's we're just looking forward to big. It's my favorite 4 days of the year, probably.
Yeah.
Yes, and you have Wednesday night, then which you can do whatever you want, and then Thursday and then Friday is Black Friday, go shopping, and
Yeah.
then Saturday and Sunday you're probably off too. A lot of
Yeah.
people are working, but if you're off during that time, then enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy this time. Tell me about your upcoming Thanksgiving. What are you up to?
I'm going to Cracker Barrel tomorrow with my uncle and my dad.
Cracker Barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really good Thanksgiving.
Well, you're gonna get the
The
turkey
turkey
and
and
then
the usual
and
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
you're getting the chicken and was it the chicken and dumplings there? But you can get that the rest of the year. Ah, oh, we just excuse me, we have just experienced an earthquake, a seismic shift in the in everything. No, no chicken and dumplings.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know what they get at.
Turkey and stuffing
Oh, okay.
and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce and all that good
Okay,
stuff.
so yeah, so you and your family are going to do that. I and my family are going. Have we always have a good Thanksgiving. Sadly, this is the first one without my parents, so without both of my parents. So we're but the Thanksgivings go on and the family goes on, and hey, and now I'm used to be I when I went to Thanksgiving I was America's guest.
Oh yeah.
Everyone welcomed me. Everyone wanted me there.
Oh yeah.
I think. At least they pretended they I don't know, they weren't getting anything out of me. So
Yeah.
what happened was I would go to Thanksgiving and I learned it from Joe DiMaggio. Just show up, and then and
Yeah.
they said, "Where's didn't, don't tell me you came empty-handed." And Joe DiMaggio would say, "Hey, I showed up, didn't I?
Yeah.
My presence is my presence."
Yeah.
You know, a lot of contentious. A lot of times people on Thanksgiving have arguments with each other.
Yeah.
They talk about politics. There's always somebody who watches Fox News a little bit too much,
Yeah.
believes everything they see on
Yeah.
there, and then they make their things. A lot of people make grand statements like they uh, I mean grand statements on because they have the whole family sitting and eating dinner and everything. I keep everything kind of light. I usually sit at the kiddie table.
That's always fun.
Well, the kids don't fight. I
Yeah.
mean, they might throw food at each other, but we don't argue about it. We don't hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah.
After we throw the three bean casserole at each other, we're feeling then we get it all out of our system. But but so I usually sit with the kids. Oh, I went to a wedding once. I think I told you this. I went to a
Yeah.
wedding where my dad and I sat with the young people, like in their like teens and 20s.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine actually sat with the old people. He was the same age as me. And I said, "What? What are you doing with the old folks? My dad's older than any of those people. He wasn't sitting with them."
Yeah.
So anyway, and then of course I'm going to I'm bringing. Listen to this. You're gonna love. Now I'm sort of required as I get older and have more money. Do I? Uh, I'm expected to bring something like a bottle of wine,
Yeah.
which I usually do. Bring a camera to take pictures of everybody. That's good. But I looked upon the greatest thing you could buy somebody on on uh, on Thanksgiving or anywhere really. You know what it is?
What?
You ever like go to the seafood section of your grocery store, and there's that ring of shrimp. It's that pink ring with
Oh
the
yes.
with the um,
Yes.
with the cocktail sauce
Yeah,
in the
that's
middle.
always good.
It's always good. Does anyone not like cold shrimp? Or is anyone going to turn it down? No, 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 no. I mean, you might say, "Well, I don't want to eat any," but yeah, my family would love to
Yeah.
eat this. So
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a ring of shrimp, and you can dip the or you don't. Actually, I don't really like the sauce that much, but I do like the shrimp itself. And somebody said, "You going to bring a cooler for it because you might have to drive an hour to get where you're going." And I said, "Oh no, I'm just going to keep it in the freezer, and then it's going to thaw out every mile of the way." And then when it gets there, it'll be ready to eat. It'll be cold, but it won't be frozen cold. Friend of mine, he runs a restaurant, and he couldn't understand how this. You always learn from other restaurants. He said how he couldn't understand how the shrimp in the can stayed fresh, and it was weird what the restaurant did, and he used it in his restaurant too. And this is a good tip. What you do is you get the shrimp, and usually the shrimp is kind of airtight, and watertight.
Yeah.
So he would submerge it in cold water, frozen frozen rings of shrimp. All right, and he had a big refrigerator, obviously, in a restaurant, and he had them all like stacked up in a big tub of cold water. So he would stick when he knew he was going to have shrimp that day. He would move it to the regular part of the refrigerator, and it would start thawing out in the cold water in the refrigerator, and the ones at the top were in there longer than the ones at the bottom. Whenever you stuck a new one in there, you put it at the bottom, and then it just moved it up to the top. So the one at the top was almost thawed out by the time it was time to eat them. And this may take it. And my friend said, the restaurateur, he said, "This is the greatest idea ever. I'm going to do this from here on out." You ever like when you eat? Do you ever make your own spaghetti?
I do. Yeah.
Well, a friend of mine, I love making my own spaghetti. I don't really, I cook almost all my food, and
I use jar sauce,
yeah,
and then I boil my noodles with olive oil.
yeah,
That's how I do it.
and
And then I make hamburger with it too.
you smush up the hamburger, or do you make meatballs out of it?
I smash up the hamburger.
You smush up the hamburger. Okay. So I used to smush up the hamburger and make it pieces, which is fine. But I found out you could buy the meatballs at the store in the frozen food section, fully cooked, and you could just pop them in there
Yeah.
and reheat them. I mean, I'm a single man, so I could I don't have to make it for 20 people. I only have to make it for myself. So, and you learn how to do it. You learn how much sauce you need. You learn how much water to boil it with. You learn how much, and it's not a exact science. I would just ball up in my hand and just okay, one, two, three. Let's do another one. Let's do
Yeah.
another one of pasta.
Yeah.
I have all this pasta at home. I don't know why. All pasta is the same, really, when you think about it. Macaroni, rotini, vermicelli, we'll name another one. Spaghetti, of course, lasagna,
Angel hair.
angel hair. Okay, so what I would do is I had this big thing, a tin, and I just threw all the pasta in. So it was all different shapes and sizes and everything, and I would just grab a handful. So it was all different types of pasta. I didn't just use all rotini or all angel hair or something. And so I would get like okay, three, usually three, but now I'm eating like four because I'm older and I need more food now.
Yeah.
And then I do it the same way you just mentioned. And but let me tell you something. You could make pasta at home al dente. You ever heard that phrase al
Oh
dente?
yeah.
That means to the chew.
Yeah.
You do it like so it's a little tough, not soggy, but make it a little like chewy. And I know that in Chinese restaurants they make rice the same way, a little chewy, not just all boiled out. See, I come from an Irish background, and we boil everything. We boil it till everything, all the taste is missing from.
I came from a mixed background,
Okay, I mean, I'm talking cuisine wise.
so yeah. I love baked potatoes.
Bake. Oh yeah. Did you boil potatoes? Oh, you
I
make them
do.
baked. Oh, you made them baked.
I make them boiled and then
Oh, okay. My mother would bake the potatoes. Baking is a little easier actually, but they boil them a lot in Ireland, and and we also boil chicken. And boiling chicken doesn't sound that good, but it actually is good.
my grandmother used to do that.
Yeah, you think of frying chicken, you think of baking chicken, and they're all there's no bad way to make chicken, but the boiling is actually keeps it juicy and keeps it wet, and you like kind of the juiciness
Yeah.
of so anyway, so we boil everything. Boil the biscuits early. So anyway, so you boil. So anyway, so I go to an Italian restaurant, and I'm friends with almost everybody in town. And I asked the guy. He made this really good pasta. He goes, "You got to eat my our pasta dish. It's very good." And I said, "Oh, okay," because like you, we make it fine ourselves. We don't have to go to a restaurant and order it. So he gave it to me. It was very good. It was very delicious. I said, why when I go to restaurants the pasta dishes are always so lousy? The sauce is usually good, and the meatballs are
I
good.
like the Alfredo.
Okay, we'll talk about Alfredo in a moment. But the he said that the reason why the pasta is so bad in most restaurants is they boil, like we were just talking about it, they boil it all day long. So by the time they put it on your plate, it's just this mush, this soggy mush that they throw barbecue Chef Boyardee sauce on, and then maybe meatballs. And he said, "Well, I said, what do you do to stop that?" He gave a good he gave a good thing. He goes, "Don't boil. I mean, boil the water, but don't boil the pasta." I said, "Well, what do you do?" He goes, "Well, there's like a crisper. You've probably seen those things on the ads, and you put the pasta in there, and it comes in through, and it just steams it cooked, and it's a light touch, and you could actually have pasta in there all day long, and not." And it won't become this soggy mess that you usually get at the the diner or something. Now you mentioned Alfredo sauce, yeah.
Yeah.
My doctor said don't eat any. I said, is there any food I shouldn't eat? He said, yeah, don't eat Alfredo sauce. And I told it to somebody else, and they said, but it tastes so good. Of course, it tastes so good. It's all fat. It's all fat and cream and carbs, and nothing's good for you. So he said it's basically just fat, and that's why people like it so much. Get tomato sauce. He says marinara sauce or anything that's get the sauce that's red if it's red. So I said, well, so then like a year later, I went for my checkup again because I have good news for you, doctor. I've cut down on my Alfredo sauce. And he goes, no, I didn't tell you to cut down on your Alfredo sauce. I told you to stop eating it. You're better off without that garbage. What I'm trying to say is that just because something's tastes good doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. I mean, if I could eat candy bars all day and drink sodas, I'd love that. But I don't do that. I'm kind of a health nut. And but my doctor also told me that if you eat if 90% of what you eat is if 90% is good, then the 10% you could allow for the Alfredo sauce or something, the candy bar, the Snickers bar. But you don't want to risk it, like you remember the Atkins diet? Remember that? It was all meat, and people were losing weight on it, but you couldn't keep that up because there was no carbs. It was all just meat and your proteins, and your body just burns it off, and then you burn the fat with it. Now, what happens is that that's good in the short term, but that's not a very healthy diet. Just eating meat and grease and all the time, fat and everything. So eventually you have to come around to eating fruits and vegetables, which is what you should be eating anyway. Uh, 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 you tell people while they're losing weight, oh, this is the greatest diet in the world. I'm losing all this weight, and I said to them, yeah, but sooner or later you're going to have to you plateau, which means you won't lose any more weight. You're not going to completely vanish. You're not going to complete. You're not going to be the incredible shrinking man. So I said that you have to start, eating, fruits and vegetables and everything, because that's healthy. The best probably diet is the Mediterranean diet with the olive oil. You
Oh
talked
yeah.
about olive oil
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah, all that stuff, and keep carbs to a minimum, keep meat to a minimum. So the way it works is also a lot of these diets they restrict portions, like Jenny Craig.
Yeah.
Martin Short has a joke that he's been on Jenny Craig more often than Mr. Craig. But
Mr.
anyway,
Craig.
so a friend of mine was on Jenny Craig. Funny, I have all these friends who do these things. I don't do anything myself. I just
Yeah.
watch them.
Yeah.
I just sit in judgment with my arms full like. So anyway, a friend of mine was on Jenny Craig, and he couldn't believe how small the portions were. And I figured out that the reason why he was losing weight was if he stuck to the diet, he didn't. Was that the portions are small? You don't need you eat. We eat more than we think we do. So thus he was he kept it. He kept uh, he went off. He goes, I'm going to eat my own food from now on because Jenny Craig they sell me small portions and everything. I said, listen, you keep the portions small, you will lose weight.
Yeah.
You could have a mayonnaise and milkshake diet. That's all you eat. But if you keep it low, if you keep it down, you not to say you'll be healthy, but you will lose weight on it. So but like I said, you can't keep that up. In fact, losing weight is one of the easiest things in the world to do. Keeping it off and
Yeah.
getting to a whole new mindset of thinking, about stuff. I have friends, I talk about this all the time. I had trouble, used to drink too much, take drugs, all that stuff. But eventually your doctor tells you to stop, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of people I know, or a lot of people when it comes to food, not so much drugs and smoking and stuff. I never was a smoker, but they tell them to, oh, I can't do that. I can't stop drinking. I have to have my beer every day. I have to have my candy bar. I have to have my vodka stinger, my gin Ricky every day. But then, if you're think you're going to die if you don't change your diet or change the way you are. You know I think the willpower comes easy. Meaning I'm going to die if I keep if I don't want to drink myself to death. I don't want to take drugs to death. Smoke myself to death. I once went to a funeral of a friend of mine, and his father was like 55 years old. I was like maybe 25. Then the Bible says you should live to be three score ten, which is 70. And that was when people only lived to be 35, 40 years old. So I said, why? I said to him, how come your father didn't live very long? He said he had a heart attack. I said he had a heart attack. He doesn't look like a heavy guy or something, or a hypertension type of guy. Said never always had a cigarette in his hand.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh." He said he didn't die of lung cancer. He didn't die of emphysema, but his body was weakened so bad from smoking, at least 2 packs a day
Yeah.
all his life that he couldn't recover. And then when the heart attack came, there he went. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and so I'm here for the long haul. I want to. I don't want to. I don't want to die because
Yeah. I don't want to die
you don't
either.
want to die either. Because when I hate it when my friend dies because I lose my friend.
Yeah. I know.
But when I die, I lose all my friends.
I
I,
lost I lost a friend this past January.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Audrey.
Oh, Audrey,
Yeah,
yeah,
she passed away of a heart attack
yeah,
this past January.
a heart attack, and she was
Yeah,
only in her 20s, I think, right?
in her
30s,
30s.
in her
Yeah,
30s,
she was
yeah,
33.
33, heart attack. You see, that's terrible.
I already told you about that a while
No,
ago.
I know that she passed away, but I'm bringing it up. I'm glad you brought it up for this show so I could talk about. I know all about Audrey,
Yeah,
and Audrey.
I wasn't really told that she passed away until last minute.
And Audrey was trying to. I remember her trying to get in shape and everything, but yeah, too late, too little, too late. You know,
Yeah,
and Audrey was nice, and they're all nice. She and that came from a nice family. I remember her dad and everything. So yeah, so sad when people are cut down in the prime of life.
yeah,
33. Gosh, that's awful.
I know.
Yeah,
I
and
couldn't believe it when I heard about it.
yeah,
So
yeah. I'm in it for the long haul.
me too.
I told my nephew once I was never going to die.
Yeah.
said he said, "What do you mean you're never going to die?" I said, "Well, I have a kind of a plan." He goes, "What's your plan?" He goes, "You've heard of being frozen?
Yeah.
I'm going to be frozen. Just before I die, they're going to freeze me.
Yeah.
Let's say I have a disease or something, and then they'll keep me frozen until they cure the disease, and then they'll defrost me and cure me of the disease. Then I'll go on for another 100 years or so,
Yeah.
and then in 100 years down the line, there'll be another disease, and they'll freeze me again. And I'll just keep on going and doing this over and over and over again, never stop."
Yeah.
So he said, "And you really have this well thought out?" And I said, "Well, if I'm in a plane crash, all bets are off. Probably won't get me there in time. The
Yeah.
cryogenics lab." But they do. You look at famous celebrities like Bobby Darin, for example, who died, or John Garfield, who died before they were 40 of heart attacks.
Didn't he have pneumonia or something?
Well, they
Bobby
had
Darin?
stuff, but he had rheumatic fever as a kid, and then just never had a good heart. John Garfield, and I actually sadly know people that are come from families with bad histories of
Yeah.
longevity, of a lack thereof, and thus I'd like to think that with technology and with science and everything, that's why you should never discount science. That they you shouldn't just let things happen. You should take an interest in exercise and eating right,
Yeah.
in having a pleasant outlook on life
Yeah.
and everything. I'm always a happy guy.
Me too.
I'm never sad.
Yeah.
I'm always but like I said about Bobby Darin or John Gar or anyone who died young, uh, if they were around today, they would probably have an easier cure for what they had. I mean, it used to be. I mean, AIDS, for example. I mean, if you got AIDS, you died of AIDS. But now people are living for many years with AIDS, thanks to technology, thanks for scientific breakthroughs and everything. We work on all those things. The vaccinations for COVID. I was talking about those, and I said that I said I couldn't believe when when they introduced the vaccinations for everyone to get maybe a year or two after 2020. I was one of the last people to get it. I was in that group. The healthy group were the last people to get it. If you were
Yeah.
unhealthy, like a smoker, you got it first. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it before. I didn't want to
Yeah.
get COVID before I got the
Yeah.
vaccination. So we got the vaccinations, and the joke I made was if they had a vaccination against dandruff, I would have taken it.
Yeah. I know.
But there were people that refused to take it,
Yeah.
and they were holding everyone back.
I know.
And a lot of those people got sick, and some of those people died of COVID. And I'm sure the last thing coursing through their head, the last thought they had on their ventilator when they were just fading out on their deathbed was, "Is it too late to get the vaccination?" I'm sure they weren't like standing their ground then. We're laying their ground at that point. But you just got to. But tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Eat, drink, and be merry.
That's right. Yep.
and then on Friday, eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we shop.
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I'm bringing. What are you? You? Oh no, you're going to a restaurant. So you could order a hot dog if you want at
Yeah.
the restaurant.
I go order a hot dog on Thanksgiving.
I mean, if I go to a restaurant on Thanksgiving, I'll eat what I want. Do
Yeah.
you have pizza here? I'll eat pizza. You know, I never get tired of eating pizza. I love pizza. The only fast food I eat is pizza. Once a week, I go to the pizza parlor and get a pizza and take it home. It shows you mindset. I eat like two pieces. I eat one piece. I just scarf it down. Then the second piece, I just I love this. And then I put the pizza away. Pizza is one of those things you can reheat every day. So a pizza, a large pizza. I usually get the large pizza and eat it all myself. That usually takes me like 3 or 4 days. Well, maybe 3 days because I eat it for breakfast, and lunch, and dinner. I have crazy eating
Yeah.
habits, but they work for me. They
Yeah.
work for me.
I have crazy eating habits too.
Yeah. What do you like?
So sometimes I get hungry sometimes, and I eat a snack or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the snack?
Even cheese and crackers.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a good snack.
Um,
I eat cheese and crackers all the time.
bagels and cream cheese.
Okay.
That's they.
That's a little too fancy for me.
Yeah. I don't think that's it. So
I was at I'm not going to mention her name, but I was at a girl's house recently, and you know what I'm talking about. And we're doing some project, and she said, "Can we stop for a snack?" I said, "No, I want to finish this work. You know, I'm pretty nose to the grind. When I start something, I want to finish it." And then her mom came with 4 chocolate chip cookies, and I'm not kidding.
I
What?
love chocolate chip cookies.
What? Who doesn't like chocolate chip cookies? The point of this story is this girl, not very healthy girl. She she came and she just grabbed all 4 of them and started eating them. And she said to her mom, "Aren't you going to bring any cookies for Kevin?" So I actually had to grab the last 2 cookies out of her mouth that were already in there. I said, "Hey, she meant us to share these."
Yeah. Share them, please, would you? Yeah.
I tell you, there's one thing I don't share. You know, I never believed in sharing if it's something I really like.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'll tell you another story. I think I told a story about the anchovy pizza where a guy got an anchovy pizza, and everyone hates anchovy pizzas.
I love anchovies.
You should have been there because what happened was he offered everyone a piece, and everyone didn't want one. And you could afford to be generous. Anchovy. Oh, you don't want? I look out of the goodness of my heart. I'm giving everyone a slice of pizza. Oh
Yeah.
well, I guess I'm going to have to eat it all myself. When actually that the intention was it if they had a pepperoni pizza, yeah, everyone would have had a piece.
Yeah.
So I don't like I don't I like when people give me a box of candy. I like to share it. I was at a friend's house and she got a Whitman. Her boyfriend got her a Whitman sampler, and she offered me a piece.
I love those.
You like Whitman sampler?
Yeah.
And I ate a piece. She goes, "Have another one. Have another one, Kevin." And then like about maybe we're talking for like 20 minutes, and she goes, "Here, have some more Whitman sampler chocolate." I took another piece. Can I have a fourth? Yeah, not the fourth piece. And then maybe about 5 minutes later, "Aren't you going to eat this Whitman sampler chocolates?" And I said, "Wait a minute! I didn't come here to eat all this chocolate. The two pieces I had the first time were fine enough for me. Why are you offering me all this chocolate?" You know what she told me? She told me the more you eat, the less I eat because the temptation is so great. I don't want to have to gain all that weight.
Yeah.
So so tomorrow enjoy. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too,
Yes,
baby.
yes. I think I'd like to do. I'd like to come back and can I come back and do a second half of this show?
Sure. I mean,
Oh, of course.
yeah.
All right.
I just want to say God bless you. We'll be back in a little bit.